Hi, hello, welcome back or welcome to my channel if you are new here. My name is Wendy Ivy Martinez. I am a geek and this channel is all about bookish things. And today we are going to be filling my 2024 TBR cart. I completely emptied it as I tell you some of my book goals and some of my goals for this booktube channel going forward into 2024. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so if you guys don't know what a TBR cart is, it is basically a utility cart like this, and I'm basically going to fill it up with the top books that I want to read in 2024. And I'm going to go ahead and just start off with the books that I want to listen via audio. You're probably not going to see those because they're going to be down here. But I will show you as I go. So the first one is going to be One of Us is Dead by Geneva Rose. This is the author of The Perfect Marriage. And I know that this is a thriller that gives me like Pretty Little Liars vibes, but adult. So this is going to go down here. And the next book that I got is one that I hauled earlier in 2023, and it's called Notes on an Execution by Danya Kufafika. I'm sorry if I'm saying the last name wrong, but this is basically about a serial killer that was like going on and killing a whole bunch of children, I believe. And this is he's like on his death sentence, and he tells his like life story, and that's what it's about. It won a lot of awards. I might actually read this physically. I'm not sure yet, but I'm going to put it a part of the audiobooks for now. Next is Malice by Heather Walter. And I know that this is like a sapphic romantasy about Aurora / Sleeping Beauty and Maleficent, and this is like their little love story. I'm going to probably listen to this via audio just because I've had it for a few years now, and I kind of want like the books that I've had a few years now to kind of like get them out of the way and like finally just listen to them, because I have so many. I have like over 200 books on my physical bookshelf that I have not read, and I want to read them. Next is Vicious by V.E. Schwab. I also want to read the Gathering of Shadows or A Touch of Magic series as well, because I do have her adult series to that. So I want to read this one because I do like V.E. Schwab's writing. And I think that's a villain origin story, if I'm not mistaken. Next I have A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. Now this I thought was a adult fantasy dark academia, but apparently this is a YA, so that's why I'm choosing to listen to it audio versus physically reading it, because I am not a big YA person. Next we have The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. I believe this is a thriller about like older people. I don't know too much about what it's about, but I heard that it's really good, and I think another one just came out this year. I believe it's like the 4th installment, and I just heard that it was really good, and it's just got raving reviews, so I really want to listen to that via audio as well. Next is Romantasy by Susanna Clark. The reason why I'm choosing to listen to this one via audio is because I don't know if this is going to be a hit or miss for me. Physically reading a book really implants it in my head a lot more than audio. So this one, I don't know if it's going to be a hit or miss for me. I think it's like if you're a fan of like Circe wasn't a big hit for me, so that's why I'm putting this here. Next we have Dial A for Aunties by Jessie Q. Sutanto. I am not a big romance person. I think this is like a thriller / romance with humor thrown in. I'm tired of reading plain romance, like Hallmark romances. It's not my cup of tea. This has a thriller element to it, so that's why I'm choosing to listen to the audio versus physically reading it. Like, to physically read a book, like, it needs to be like I want that shiznit embedded in my brain, you know? Next we have The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. I might, again, physically read that one, but I'm not quite sure yet. And then we have The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. This is another one that I don't know if I want to physically read it or if I want to listen to the audiobook. So I'm just putting it here for now. Next we have Ariadne by Jennifer Saint. This is a Greek mythological retelling of Ariadne. I like Greek mythology. I have had that book for years, so that's why I want to make sure to get it out the way. Next is Beartown by Frederick Bachman. Bachman. this I want to save for a vlog that I want to do, talking about is Fredrik Backman worth it. I have quite a few of his books, so I'm going to be physically reading some, but some of them are going to be listened to via audio. Next we have Angel Fall. This is another book that I've had for years, and it is a YA, which is why I haven't actually picked it up, but I have been wanting to read it. Next we have Happiness Falls by Angie Kim. I'm not going to go like deep into all these books, you guys, just because there's so many, but I will briefly touch on them. I don't know what this one is about. I think it's like it's a contemporary drama, I believe. 1,000 Ships by Natalie Haynes. Again, another Greek mythology retelling, and I believe this is a Greek mythology on the Trojan women. So we have A Man Called Ove. This is another Fredrik Backman book that I want to read, that I'm going to put a part of my reading vlog. Next we have Pandora's Jar, and I think this is Women in the Greek Myths. So this is by Natalie Haynes. Again, I want to get back into reading like Greek mythology. I really like Greek mythology, and I want to eventually do like a book recommendation video for like Greek mythology retellings as well. So reading all these Greek mythology books is going to definitely help with that. Next thing I'm going to add is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I wasn't a huge fan of Circe. I think I rated it like 3 out of 5 stars, so I don't know if I'm going to like this one any more than I liked that one. So that's why I don't want to take that chance and probably just listen to it via audio. Next we have Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. I've read one other book by Silvia Moreno Garcia. It's called Gods of Jade and Shadow, which is pretty much a miss for me. I think I rated it, again, 3 out of 5 stars. However, I do remember a lot of it, even though I read it years ago, probably like 6 or 7 years ago at least. And so it did have a huge impact on me, and I want to give her another chance because she is a Hispanic author, and I want to read more Hispanic authors. I'm Mexican, and I want to read more of my culture. And then next we have Iron Widow by Ziran J. Zhao. Now, I actually would watch her videos on YouTube where she would do the actual history, like behind the Mulan story. She did one of Squid Game, and I loved her videos so much, and just learning about China's history and learning about, you know, with Squid Game, obviously it's Korea, and learning about the real stories behind that. It was just so, like, I loved watching her content. She was very entertaining to me. She was definitely very educational, and I am excited that she came out with a book. It is YA, that's why I'm iffy about it, but I mean, if she writes like how she tells her stories and her like talks about history, I know it's gonna be good. All right, so now we're in between shelves and we're moving on to the second shelf. Let's talk about my 2024 book goals, like regular book goals. First thing that I want to do is I want to read 75 books this year. I think that'll be fun. That'll be amazing. So if you see me looking this way, it's because I wrote it down in my little Canva template, but I really want to get into my high fantasy era, and I want to read at least 20 high fantasy novels. I know that a lot of high fantasies tend to have like a whole saga and like a whole series, so I feel like I can reach that very fast. And I'm going to have a whole vlog where I read like Brandon Sanderson's books, P. Ruiz project. Her name is Reagan. Okay, I love her videos on YouTube, but she reads a lot of fantasy, and I want to read like her favorite fantasy novels, so I'm gonna have a whole reading blog for that as well. So I definitely want to enter my fantasy era, not just romantasy. There's definitely going to be a lot of that, but my high fantasy era as well. And then last but certainly not least, I want to make sure that I read at least 15 new releases in 2024. 2024 has a lot of like good books that are going to be coming out, so I definitely want to jump on the bandwagon and make sure that I'm on top of it, especially with specific genres like fantasy, like romance, fantasy, like romantasy, horror, possibly, thriller, maybe, but fantasy, romantasy, horror. For sure, I want to like read as much as possible from those 3 genres. Okay, so Moving on to my second shelf, these are going to be I did a whole video of this one where I talked a little bit more about each book, so I'm just going to kind of show you each book. These are the 24 books that I want to read in 2024, so let's just get into that. The first book that I really want to read is Blood on the Tracks. I plan on reading this in January, so I might actually put this at the top. We're going to put that at the top. Fear the Flames. This is a book about dragons that is going here. It is a romantasy, adult romantasy. I'm going to move this way so you can see that. Next we have Babel by R.F. Kuang. Oh, I have like a lot of huge books, you guys, that I really want to read. I like how I'm showing you like this. Assistant to the Villain is another one that's on my TBR. We got a nonfiction. I want to read one nonfiction a month. I guess that's another book goal of mine, is to read at least one nonfiction or / self-help a month. A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. This is the same author as Divine Rivals, except this is a adult fantasy. The Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah. I believe this is a retelling of 1001 Nights, if I'm not mistaken. Next we have Ashes in the Star-Cursed King. I'm going to try moving this back. There you go. Okay. Ashes in the Star-Cursed King by Carissa Broadbent. This is the sequel to Serpent and the Wings of Night. The Dead Romantics. I read it halfway. I DNF'd it. I might do a whole video where I try to pick up books that I DNF'd in 2023. The Atlas Six by Olivia Blake. Steel Beating by Jennifer Hartman. Zodiac Academy. This has been on my TBR for like the past 2 years now. So I definitely have to get to it, but although I know it's a commitment. Oh, I don't know if I'm gonna fit all these books here. Okay, so I got The Confidence Code, which is a self-help. The Journey to the Dark Goddess, which is a nonfiction. From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout, which is a romantasy. This Big Bad Boy, Empire of the Vampire by Jay Kristoff. Throne of Glass. I actually want to read the entire series, but I'm not going to put the whole entire series here. And then we're going to go to the top shelf. Let's see how we do this. All right, so I put you on my desk. So now let's finish up this top shelf here. I'm sorry, this shirt is like really baggy on me, so I apologize. We have this one, Year of the Witch, which is a like living life through, not the seasons, the Sabbats, the witches' Sabbats. Intuitive Eating, nonfiction. I'm gonna do a whole vlog where I read the ACOTAR series. I'm going to do a whole vlog because I've read the first one and I haven't read the rest. So I'm going to do a whole reading vlog for that. So that's going to get me to read it. Brandon Sanderson, we have The Final Empire, or Mistborn Book 1. I said it in my last video and I will say it again. Got a lot of big books here, okay? Like big books and I cannot lie. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I just heard nothing but wonderful things about that book. Promised in Fire by Jasmine Walt, because another goal is to read a lot of books of dragons, because, I mean, dragons are all the hullabaloo now. A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. And now, lastly, but certainly not least, we're going to go into the other books that I really want to read this year. So next we're going to go into Jade City by Fonda Lee. This is a high fantasy adult novel. The Once and Future Witches by Alex E. Harrow. I want to do a whole like, is Alex E. Harrow worth it? Yeah, because I always do that. Like I always read like books from authors that I haven't tried before and then like talk about like if I like them or not. I did it with Grady Hendrix earlier this year, or earlier 2023. Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. I've been wanting to read this, okay? I know I said I'm not going to read any more romance, but you know what? I heard that this is Chuck and Blair from Gossip Girl, and I was obsessed with them, so I don't see how that could go wrong. Guild. I have Guild here. I'm going to reread it because the first time it didn't go well for me, but I heard that it gets better. Speaking of Alex E. Harrow, we have The 10,000 Doors of January. My daughter said to read that in January, but I don't know if I'm going to get to it in January. Starling House by Alex E. Haro, going along with that theme. Another big book. After I finish the Gathering of Shadows trilogy by V.E. Schwab, I want to read The Fragile Threads of Power. Wicked is the Reaper, just because it's really tiny. Queen and Conqueror, which is a book talk author that I found on Book Talk, and this is like a feminist high fantasy romantasy. Another nonfiction, The Three Waves of Volunteers in the New Earth by Dolores Cannon, who was this like woman who like swore she could channel aliens and stuff. Glint by Raven Kennedy. This is book 2 in the Plated Prisoner series. By the time August rolls around, I want to read all the Plated Prisoner. I might do a whole vlog on that too. And then last but certainly not least, I want to read The Hacienda by Isabel Cañas. I will put them up here for now because it doesn't fit. Alright, you guys, so now that we've filled our cart, yay, it's filled, you probably can't see it, but I swear it is full to the brim, yes, and it is full to the sides. We've got so many books here, I'm excited, okay? So now that we have that, let's go over my Booktube goals for 2024 because I'm so excited. I have so many videos in store for 2024. So number one, my number one goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers, aka get monetized here on YouTube. I love reading. I've loved reading since I was a little girl, and I just started getting back into reading in 2022. What is that? Oh, those are the books that I read in December. I was like, what books are those? I really want to take this seriously. You know, like I really want to become a full-time content reader creator. Like the fact that a lot of these like booktubers are making money just reading and enjoying their books is like goals, you know, like goals, and being able to share my reading, my love for reading, and hopefully inspiring people to pick up books and getting them back into reading or getting them into reading for the first time is just, I don't know, something that's just, I guess, fulfilling to me and that I really want to be a part of. You know, I want to do more book recommendation videos. For example, I've read a lot of like Hades and Persephone retellings, so I want to do the best and the worst Hades Persephone retellings. I do have a few more on my list that I want to get to before I do that. I want to do like, obviously, like Greek mythology book recommendations based off of your zodiac sign. I want to do book recommendations based off of your favorite Baldur's Gate 3 character, because I have been playing that. There's just so many like book recommendation videos that I have in store in my little noggin. I don't know why I made that noise. I probably will not be able to stand it when I'm editing.
Hi, future editing Ivy here. Yes, I can't stand that noise. All I have to say is that I'm grateful that I did not put headphones on to edit this video.
But in my little noggin, that's what I have in mind. Next I want to do more fun reading vlogs. Like I said, I want to do that ACOTAR reading vlog. I am also going to have a reading vlog that's going to be coming out in January because I'm actually in the process already of doing it. Like I'm already reading the books. I want to do a reading vlog where I read books solely based off their cover, like just the cover. I can't read the synopsis. I don't look up the Goodreads reviews. I look at the cover and then I guess what it's about. And then I take it home and I read it and I tell you guys if it was on point with my synopsis and if I liked the book or not. And I have like 4 books. I want to give authors that I hate second chances. For example, Sylvia Moreno Garcia. We have Raven Kennedy, that she has other series that I want to read too. And then last but certainly not least, I want to have a better background setup. Obviously, you've seen me everywhere. You've seen me with my little chair that's actually in the corner now. You've seen me with this thing next to me. You've seen me on the floor. You've seen me when I was staying at my parents' house temporarily because I was moving. You saw all that. That was like when I first started doing Booktube. And actually, obviously, we have moved now. And now I actually do have a library. I have a walk-in closet that's going to be my own personal little library. So hopefully I'm able to film in there. However, the lighting isn't the best. So as long as we get the lighting right, that's gonna be it. That's gonna be it. And it's gonna be like a fantasy thing. I just have so many, well, I'm excited, okay guys? So anyways, that is it. Those are my goals for books, booktube, and this is my TBR cart. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you continue to watch me in the new year. If you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell to be notified when I post. One more thing, I really do want to see if I can get like a Patreon going. That way I can do like those live streams and watch parties and reading sprints. That seems so fun. Anyways, you guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope to see you next year, and then I hope you're better than ever. 2024 is your year, okay? It's your year. You got this. All your goals, all your resolutions, you got them. I already know, okay? Anyways, you guys, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for my next video. As I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted. Thank you guys so much for watching. In January, I do have a video coming up where I let my New Year's resolutions pick my TBR for January. That's already been mapped out and good to go. The book's already in here actually. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!